it's your buddy. Peace and harmony with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful, empowered harmonizers. It's such an honor and a privilege to be able to have the privacy of this conversation and interaction through video here. So thank you so much for your viewership, all you beautiful, empowered harmonizers. And we are zooming in and focusing in a little bit more in depth and really sort of understanding, especially when we get into the real malignant, the psychopathic realm, and understanding these relationships, the dynamics and the impact that it has on you, the influence, positive or negative, and to take stock of that, but to heal and repair some of those areas that have really been inflamed or inflammatory within you, that have created either a feeling of loss or being lost, the feeling of being left out or isolated, the feeling of being betrayed or belittled or falsely accused of things. These are all a result of being in a relationship with someone who is psychopathic. And we're not diagnosing or treating here, but we're talking about in generalities, I guess, with those viewers who are drawn to the channel and have encountered this problematic relationships or difficult relationships, especially people who are very cold, callous, or calm in the state where most people would be horrified, reactive in a different way. So if you have found yourself in a relationship with someone who's highly manipulative or really, a pathological liar who has had a mask or a facade in a relationship with you, and it turns out that person did not exist, or they were putting on a front to you. They were literally putting on a mask. And some people, it is to wake up to the OMG moment, rock bottom, where it's like, I cannot believe this person exists. Like, this person had me totally fooled. They had me conned. They had me convinced. OMG. And you realize you have, exposed them. And that this is no longer, you could find yourself struggling and grappling to keep the relationship going, and is pulling out the worst of you. So if you have found yourself in this state, I really want to zoom in and focus in on the psychopathic sort of experience when you're in a relationship with these individuals, which is just really sort of the feeling that they live for the moment. It's just like a poof, like they're here and they're gone. It's a very sort of empty or vapid experience where you feel like you can't really, there is no responsibility within this person for long range, real, the good life, the real life. In other words, that's how you know, that's a good indicator, that's a red flag that this relationship is not right for you. Despite the fact that you might want it to be so, or this might be your family member, or this might be within your workplace, where you have learned this, or they have hurt you in this manner of betraying, of being one way to you and another way to another person, and to feel like there's this just poof. I guess that's just the way to experience. They're here and they're gone. It's like a living for the moment. The high risk behaviors, where they have, created what would naturally be like, well, this will bring us closer. It's those moments and experiences, either through intimacy or through trying to plan or conversation, or the fact that you can be at silence or, with this person and not feel like you always have to impress them. Whatever it is, the state that they got you in, where you could feel like you could trust them. But yet there's something very high risk at the same time, simultaneously, where it's just like on the precipice of just being for the moment. In other words, just here and gone, very superficial, and very sycophantic, very just for that moment feeling. In other words, a grand entrance, a grand exit. These are like the hallmarks, I would say, or for you to pull up, like, what are the red flags so I can know better for myself, peace and harmony, what it is I'm going through and why I'm so unhappy. Like, what happened here? What the, OMG, what the H. So if you're feeling like, why is this? It's because there has a tendency, because someone who is truly psychopathic, they do not have any values. They are loveless. They don't have it. It ain't going there. It ain't living there. There ain't no tree of life there. You're in a dry desert. I mean, if you're trying to plant a seed and water it, it's going to burn up. You're going to go back. It ain't going to be there. Even though they might entice you through these certain stringing along of things, there's a feeling of very much, it's very momentary. It's very fleeting. It doesn't have substance. It doesn't have heart. It doesn't have guts. Like, there's something about it that's just here and gone. So just to try to identify this experience within you, if you've felt this way and feel like it's an energetic feeling. And as you go further in your personal growth and your personal development and understand your needs and have more repetition and experience with people, you'll be able to identify that feeling of like, it's here and gone. You'll see that there's something emotional where they're just not there. You can feel it. If you were to put, and this is, I'm speaking because I've had a lot of experience with this population and assisting people, but you can almost, I'm to the point where you can, put these people and you can feel, it's a feeling, you can feel energetically who's there in present and empathy and who is not. It's a feeling. It's like a seventh sense that it's a sixth and seventh sense. So beyond your five senses, your sixth sense is your intuition, which is like your inner knowing. You don't know how the knowledge got there, but it's there and it's right on. And, and then there's the seventh sense, which is your conscience, which is built in. It's your primordial, it's like your collective unconscious, Carl Jung, which means you have the storehouse of your ancestry through generations, through eons, basically through millions of years, that you have this built in, this knowledge coming into this world. So that's like your conscience. So, and then, a lot of self-protective behaviors are there, and it's what like is going to run your heart, your brain. These are things you don't have to think about, but are moving and guiding you. So it becomes like another sort of guidance system in your etheric energetic field. So when you feel this, like that they're not really present, they're not really there, then it's caused you to doubt yourself and you've been strung along, don't feel bad that you have encountered this. Don't feel the vapidness, don't feel their emptiness, that they're going to leave. It's like, rather than dropping you off with an energized, happy feeling like, yes, I'm going to go for the gusto, peace and harmony. I know what's right for me next. Like, I know what makes me happy, excited, and I'm going to pursue that. Like, and these are my interests and I accept it, and then life is going on as normal. If you're feeling like, like you're just, the path has led you to a drop-off cliff point where you're going to tumble like 2,000 feet. I ain't going there. It's like that poof experience. It's the high risk thrill of being with them, and then they're going to string it along and then just drop it off. There ain't nothing there. It's a poof experience. It's like they're too much living in the moment. And yes, mindfulness is living in the now, but there's a presence. There's a substance in living in the now. So you'll be able to know the difference and see if you can identify and locate that either in your previous relationships, your present, or going forward, and see and answer for yourself which feeling you prefer. Do you prefer to be left, empty? Do you prefer to left dangling? Do you prefer to just go for the sizzle? Is that what you like? Or do you prefer to be mindful, living in the now, to be present, to be mindful and, experiencing your food, to be experiencing your day, to be experiencing the beautiful, and then know that it's there in a feeling of solidity and security, like you're there rock solid, and that you can count on that. You have a sense of certainty and security and positive self-regard moving forward. That's what I call really sort of the mindful, positive, early direction thinking and living, when you're going on that path and your internal guidance system is driving you, versus that poof to poof to poof where you're getting emptier and emptier and emptier. Do you see how those two paths can lead you to a much different place, in your life and in your day and what you experience? And it's with repetition and experience and decisions and choices that you get there. So it's to now stay at the crossroads and say, okay, am I going to go for the the poof, the negative orderly direction of thinking, that's what I call that, where it's just leading you into feeling of deprivation, emptiness, just too much living in the moment, like being seduced by that? Or can you say, no, I am definitely on the path of commitment to positive orderly direction thinking, where I'm mindful and I'm working for the positive, and I have more of that certainty and excitement. I've identified what I like and I'm pulling it for me, and life is pulling for me and rooting for me over here. What sort of lifestyle do you prefer? If you can identify that now and say, I'm going here or I'm going there, and then give yourself a chance to reflect right now in this moment, what does positive orderly direction thinking and feeling and behaving and experiencing mean for you? And if you can identify that, what does the good life mean to you? What do healthy relationships mean to you? What does it look like? What does it feel like? And then furthermore, what does negative orderly direction thinking, feeling, behaving, and relationships look like and feel like? If you can kind of jot that down on 2 pages, both sides of the same page, so you can take a moment of reflection and guide yourself to think about which path goes where, and where one leads and looks like and where you'd like versus the other. And which path do you have more of a sense of truth and a sense of positive self-regard and being able to accurately identify what is good or bad for you? In other words, living in a state of higher consciousness, higher conscience as well, which means you're getting closer to the sublime, the truth, the clear knowing, the clear knowledge, clarity, and embracing that, and like holding and clinging to that, which is substance, it's an etheric substance where, energetically you're A-okay, and life is showing you the signs, the omens, the feelings. You're just getting that on the personal basis. You're feeling that life is now conspiring to help you, versus the other where your life is going down the tubes. You're drinking, you're reaching for the bottle. It's making you sick. You wake up the next day in self-regret. You're chasing relationships that ain't going to be, the cable ain't connected there. It ain't charging your phone. The part don't work. You can jam it. You can try to twist it. You can look in the phone. Hey, little clicker thing, why aren't you fitting in there? Why isn't my charger working? It don't fit. It ain't a match. So it's because energetically you're not a match to the empty. Energetically, you are not a match to the lie. Energetically, you're not a match to an abuser. Like when you really shift and you go to positive orderly direction thinking and you feel, that's right for you, you'll see that you're no longer an energetic match to that person, that music, that job, that lifestyle, that role. You're away from it. Like you're growing away, you're growing up. And this is the finer life, and over here, this is what they're doing. And I don't have to judge. I don't have to throw mud balls. I don't have to spit. I don't have to lambast them and shake a fist and shake a finger. I ain't wasting the energy. If you have like only so many energy units, why would you use your precious energy to fight and battle abusers? I mean, if you need to do it to protect yourself for your human right, either in a state of divorce or what have you, then you need to go through those channels, but you need to do it smart, and you need to get mediators and protect yourself so you can stay on that path and really get some foothold. But why would you want to stay at that crossroads where you've Wimp Junction is where David Sandler, he talks about a wimp junction before doing this and doing that. In other words, why would you want to just, be reactive, spill all your dreams, your desires into the empty? Why would you want to throw that all away over there when you can save it and work it and have it? So it is very important for you. I hope you can experience this in your life and get some good feelings, directions, and decisions of clarity for you. So you can begin to, within all your senses, visualize now. We're getting into the prefrontal cortex, which is out of the fight or flight. If you've been in emotionally manipulative relationships, you know, your brainstem and limbic brain are stuck there. You are constantly with a saber-toothed tiger. I mean, you might as well have, you know, a taxidermy saber-toothed tiger just set up in your living room. You might as well go order that up from eBay because that's going to be your life. You might as well have, you know, the saber-toothed tiger skin sitting there on your rug if that's the den that you want to live in. If you want to live in the lion's den and you want to be combative and fight and be in conflict all the time, and that's your choice, then that's your choice. You're going to live in the lion's den. If you don't want that, if you want something different, something else that feels different, looks different, is different, a different, you know, you have to break the cycle. You have to get a new pattern, a pattern of choice and behavior, and identify it and get to the point where you have like a little bit of control. Because I know in relationships, we have a lot of viewers who their lives have spun out of control. They're in a place they ain't liking it. You know, it's like they're like, what was that Sesame Street? You know, Oscar. You know, you feel like you're in the can. You know, you're the grouch in the can, and you don't like feeling that green. You don't feel like that fuzzy. You want to be something else. You want to be like Big Bird, or you want to be out of there. So you can change. You don't have to live in the garbage can. You don't have to feel like that. And for international viewers, you might not get it. Or if you didn't grow up with Sesame Street, you might not get it either. So, but as we're saying, it's a very different place, but you have to take a moment of reflection and mindfulness and have like awakening mindfulness. What I encourage you, my viewers, is to give you the tools of reflection here in this privacy of this video. So it's like a support system. We have like a little bit of a support group here where then you can then choose and know what that looks like. So you can follow, so you're out of that limbic brain and you're now in the prefrontal cortex where you're able to have a vision for your life and materialize and manifest and be a match to the positive versus being a match to the fight or flight, the fawn stage. Pete Walker's book. You know, the fawn is a great match for a psychopath because if you're just in the headlights of a grand, you know, charmer, then you're like very docile. You're just gonna be swept off your feet. You're gonna lose your noggin in the process, and you're gonna be, you know, wondering why you're rolling, you know, you're edging, you know, holding onto the cliff for your dear life. It's because of that fawn moment, and you didn't realize, you didn't know that this type of individual exists. So that's part of the lessons learned. I talk about the recovery journal, a key going, you know, a running chapter of your life should be written on the top of the page, lessons learned. I.e., I got this. I.e., I ain't doing that again. The hand ain't going in the flame. I ain't that stupid. You know, my name ain't duh. My name ain't the. You know, lessons learned. So it's like you're graduating through these steps. And so I really hope that you're able to identify those. I call it Vapid. If you've felt, I think Vapid is a very good word. It's very empty. It feels very lack of substance. So people, you might find them, that lifestyle has a lack of substance. And it's okay, knowing this to be the case, to say no. You know, that ain't me. I ain't going down that path. Adios, sayonara. You know, buena suerte, good luck. You know, and you let that go. You let that person go. You let that lifestyle go. You let that job go. You let that interaction type of reaction go where you're no longer a counterforce to that vapid force because it's just going to take out of you. So it's saying, wow, I acknowledge this to be the case. This is my truth. It might be tough to swallow, but swallow it I am, just like many and other have had to. And I'm going now for my right course in my direction. And I know what that means for me. This is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. And I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.